Let's say you are the captain of an enemy warship. You are watching your radar. Suddenly, a blip appears. It's flying at just 10 meters above the water, skimming the waves, so a long range radar missed it until it was too close. You look at the speed. It's traveling at 1 kilometer per second. That is 3 times the speed of sound. You do the math quickly. You have less than 30 seconds to react. You fire your defensive guns, but the missile performs an S maneuver. It weaves like a snake at supersonic speeds. Boom! Game over. This isn't sci-fi. This is the reality of facing the BrahMos, the world's fastest, most lethal supersonic cruise missile. And it's the pride of India. I'm sure you would want to know more about the missile, right? Then buckle up. You are with Bharat Leads. First, let's decode the name. BrahMos. It is a portmanteau of two great rivers, the Brahmaputra of India and the Moskva of Russia. This story starts in the 1990s. The Gulf War had just shown the world the power of the American Tomahawk missile. India knew it needed a cruise missile. But India didn't want a subsonic slow mover like the Tomahawk. We wanted something faster. So in 1998, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was then the DRDO chief, he signed an intergovernmental agreement with Russia. It was a genius move. Russia had the propulsion technology from their P-800 Onyx missile, and India had the guidance software and avionics capabilities. So they created a joint venture, BrahMos Aerospace, 50.5% owned by India, DRDO, and 49.5% by Russia, NPO Mashinostroyenia. This wasn't just a buyer-seller relationship. It was a co-creation, and the result was a weapon that had no equal in the West. So what makes the BrahMos a mechanical masterpiece? Well, there are a few things. Actually, a lot of things, but we will focus on the main ones for now. First, of course, is the engine. It's the ramjet magic. Most missiles have a rocket engine that burns out quickly. The BrahMos is a two-stage missile. Stage 1 is a solid propellant booster. This fires first, taking the missile to supersonic speed instantly. Stage 2 is the liquid ramjet. This is the secret sauce. Once the missile is moving fast enough, the booster falls off and the ramjet kicks in. It breathes air from the atmosphere to burn fuel, and this allows it to maintain Mach 2.8 to Mach 3.0. That is nearly 3,700 kilometers per hour for its entire flight path. Here is a physics fact that will blow your mind. We know kinetic energy equals half the mass times velocity squared. AE is equal to half mv squared, right? Because the BrahMos is so heavy, it's 2.5 to 3 tons and moves so fast, which is like Mach 3, its impact energy is massive. Even if the warhead doesn't explode, the sheer force of the missile hitting a ship would cut it in half. It hits with 9 times the kinetic energy of a subsonic missile like the Tomahawk. Another wonderful feature of this missile is fire and forget. The operator presses the button and walks away. The missile uses GPS, it uses INS, the inertial navigation system, and an active radar seeker to find the target itself. The true genius of BrahMos is its versatility. It is the universal weapon. It can be fired from the land, it can be fired from the sea, it can be fired from the air. It has been deployed by Indian Army in Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. Why is it scary there? Because of its steep dive capability. Imagine a missile flying horizontally hiding behind a mountain peak and then suddenly diving 90 degrees straight down onto an enemy bunker on the other side. The enemy radar never sees it coming. For the sea, most Indian Navy destroyers like the INS Rajput, INS Kolkata class are armed with BrahMos. It has a sea skimming mode where it flies just 3 to 4 meters above the waves to evade radar. But the air integration was the hardest engineering challenge. Putting a 2.5-ton missile on a fighter jet. But HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, successfully modified the belly of the Su-30 MKI fighter aircraft. Now a Su-30 can take off from Tanjavur in South India, for example, fly deep into the Indian Ocean and launch a BrahMos at a hostile ship which could be like 400 kilometers away. It has extended India's reach massively. For a long time, the BrahMos was capped at a range of 290 kilometers. You know why? Because of the MTCR, the Missile Technology Control Regime. It is an international treaty that Russia was a member of at that time, but India was not. MTCR member countries generally cannot export Category 1 technology to non-members. By the way, Category 1 means any rocket or UAV system capable of carrying a 500 kg payload for at least 300 kilometers. So to legally co-develop the missile, they had to ensure it physically or digitally could not exceed the 300 kilometer limit. They set the range to 290 kilometers, just 10 kilometers short of the ban to stay in the Category 2, which is less restricted. But in 2016, India joined the MTCR. The member-to-member transfer rules are much more relaxed, so the chains were off. India immediately began testing the extended range version. We are now looking at ranges of 450 kilometers to 800 kilometers. In 2022, history was made. The Philippines signed a $375 million deal to buy BrahMos from India. These were the shore-based anti-ship missiles. Why does this matter? Because the Philippines is in a dispute with China in the South China Sea. By selling them BrahMos, India isn't just making money. It is strategically arming nations to stand up to bullying. It's India's first major entry as a global defense exporter. Interestingly, this is the irony. The cap returns when India exports the BrahMos to the non-MTCR nations. So, this is the most critical part to understand about Indian defense exports today. India acts as the responsible superpower. So when India sells BrahMos to the Philippines, which is a non-MTCR member, India must reapply the cap. So the Philippines get the 290 kilometer version while the Indian Navy uses the 800 kilometer version. So what's next? Well, the first one I would say is BrahMos NG, its next generation. The current missile is heavy, we know. The NG version will be smaller, lighter, and smarter. This means a Su-30 can carry 3 missiles instead of just 1. It will also be compatible with the smaller Tejas fighter jet. Then we have BrahMos 2. This is the monster in the closet. We are developing a version that flies at Mach 7 to Mach 8. That is hypersonic speed. At that speed, current missile defense systems are useless. They are essentially blind. I think Russia's Zircon missile technology is likely being shared here. So friends, the BrahMos is more than a weapon. It is a statement. It proves that India doesn't just assemble things, we engineer the best in the world. In a world full of geopolitical uncertainty, the BrahMos is India's Brahmastra, the ultimate deterrent. It ensures that anyone looking at the Indian map with bad intention has to think twice. Actually, with a 30-second reaction time, they won't even have time to think twice. I hope you liked it. And yes, hit that like button and subscribe. This is Bharat Leads. Jai Hind.